So what I'm getting to there is the resources that are available. If we're going to legislate this and say, okay, you did this, and I think there's many things with Crumbly that she should be found guilty for, and ultimately was found guilty for of being completely negligent with her child. But not every case is that clear cut. Uh, what about those parents who are trying? They really do want to help their child, but they don't have the resources. And I think that's one of the big things that this comes down to. Okay, we'll legislate this. Good luck, everybody. What do you do? What if the kid does need mental health counseling and help, but they don't have the insurance to get it, or they don't have it in their area, or they don't have the funding? There's a lot of reasons why people are not able to get the help that they need for their kids, not because they don't want to, because it's not a realistic possibility for them.
Well, I would say that that those parents are now running into the systems of oppression, right? The systemic racism that minorities have constantly been talking about. There's always a way to get the resources. The problem is that we often have officials in government that find ways of removing those resources slyly, covertly.
Hmm.
So the first place that a parent needs to go if they're concerned about their child is to the school.
Hmm.
But if they notice that their school also doesn't have the resources, then that's another problem, right? That's a much larger problem that the parent also should be a part of advocating for more resources for the school. Now, there's always going to be some private practice, practitioner that you can go to, but they're going to be expensive. There are other community mental health agencies that you could go to, but again, there are always going to be limited funds. If you want more access, then you need to be voting for those individuals, those officials who are going to bring access to your community and not falling victim to propaganda or anything else. If you want change and if you want help, then you have to have those people in power that are going to bring change and bring help.
I agree. Again, but it's one of those things where if you're dealing with that problem right now, waiting for the next election cycle, trying to deal with a school board that has no budget to have proper care. I mean, Jennifer Crumbley was listening to the advice of the school. The school gave her the document, the math paper that showed Ethan's writings on there with the threat, and even they said he'd be better with his peers here. And if you're not, for lack of a better term, I guess the most educated or the brightest in being a parent, she did go with what the school thought was appropriate to do, and that was to keep them with their peers. And even the school didn't even look in the bag for the gun. The gun shouldn't have been there to begin with. That was a huge fault on the part of the Crumbleys. Not disagreeing with you in a long-term solution on this sort of thing, but short-term, when you're in that moment, you need the help. The school doesn't have it. You do find maybe there is a resource out there that can give you the help, but guess what? That wait list to go see that therapist is months long, and you are in a crisis right now. There's not always the time window to do that sort of thing.
I mean, so yes, we are commenting on the fact that if you have a problem right now, what can you do about it? You can
Hmm.
go to the hospital, right? You can absolutely do that. But again, that has drawbacks. What I'm suggesting is that we need to stop being reactive to problems.
Hmm.
We need to be proactive to problems. Understand that in this time in this society, if you decide to have a child, they're going to have problems.
Hmm.
They're going to have issues that you didn't have to face as a child their age. And so start thinking about how you're going to be thinking, how can I get those resources in place already before you even have the child? Before any of this stuff, before anything happens, right? Crises only happen because we come unprepared.
Hmm.
She came in and she recognized that she had given her son a gun and never told them to be looking out for the gun. Irrespective of anything else, she should have said, wait a minute, he's talking about a gun. We've been shooting guns.
Hmm.
Hey, we should check his backpack for a gun.
Sure.
Irrespective of anything else, whatever crisis he was facing, it could have been dealt with and managed appropriately with the resources that were there. She failed by not thinking through
Hmm.
what was going on and he was giving a clear sign that he was going to use a gun.
Without a
She
doubt.
didn't think through.
And in this case specifically, I completely agree. Hey, it's Tony Brueski. If you like the podcast, be sure to like, subscribe, and press that bell so you don't miss any of our updates on the cases we're following for you right here at the Hidden Killers podcast from True Crime Today. And thanks